श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपार करुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्।
श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, for the last more than 2 weeks, we have been going through SHANKARA Stotras under the banner of Vande GurorMandalam. Now we are in Shivananda Lahari Shloka number 80.
एष्यत्येष जनिं मनोस्य कठिनं तस्मिन्नटा नीतिमद् रक्षायै गिरिसीम्नि कोमलपद न्यासपुराभ्यासितः नो चेद् दिव्यगृहान्तरेषु सुमनः तल्पेषु विद्यादिषु प्रायः सत्सु शिलातलेषु नटनं शम्भो किमर्थं तव।
In Shloka 79, we were discussing the glory of Lord's feet, Parameshwara's feet, how komala, how soft it is. Now, the same thought continues, but in a different manner. Projection is different. Now he says, what you are doing now is a pre-planned activity because you wanted to bless me. What is that? Yeshyesha janim manosya kathinam tasmin natani iti. This fellow will take birth. Yeshaha janim yeshyati. This fellow will take birth. You knew that. So even before my birth, you planned. What did you plan? Mano asya kathinam. This fellow's mind is hard, not soft. Full of impurities brought from so many previous births. So you knew that. That is what this fellow is going to have. Hard mind, hard surface. Tasmin natani. But I have decided to dance in his mind. You made a pure sankalpa. Madrakshayai. Why you decided to dance in my mind? Just for protecting me. Just for protecting me, you decided to dance in my mind. Though you knew that my mind will be very hard surface. Komala padanyasaha girisimni pura abhyasitaha. Your feet are very soft, komala pada. But you practiced by walking on hard terrain, mountainous terrain, girisimni, nyasaha, placing those soft feet on hard mountainous terrain, pura abhyasitaha. You have been practicing this for a long time. Pura means in ancient times. From ancient times, you have been practicing walking on hard terrain of mountains, placing your very soft feet, because you knew that you have to dance, you have decided to dance in my mind, which is extremely hard surface, because you wanted to protect me. Komala pada nyasaha. Nyasa means placing. I think we saw before that in japas of important mantras, there is something called nyasa before we start the mantra. Anganyasa, Karanyasa, etc. That is placing various swarupas of the same devata, the devata to whom this japa is intended, directed. That devata has got many swarupas. So all those swarupas are placed in various parts of our body as directed by Shastras, Anganyasa and Karanyasa. No chet divya grihantareshu sumanas kalpeshu vedyadishu rajastatsu shilataleshu natanam shambho kimartham tava. If no chet, if it is not so, that is, if this is not the case, if the case is not that you have decided to practice on hard surface because you wanted to dance in my hard surface of mind. If that is not the case, what you would have done? No chet divya gruhantareshu sumanas kalpeshu vedyadishu. You would have danced in so many beautiful, very soft surfaces which are available for the asking for you, like divya gruhantareshu, divine houses, houses of various devas, various deva like human beings with prosperity, prosperous human beings. They are all waiting for you with beautiful marble flooring. So you would have danced there. Sumanas talpeshu, flower beds. Sumana is flower, talpa is bed. Flower bed. Rich people are waiting for you with flower beds for you to dance. You would have gone and danced there. Vedyadishu. Vedi is platform. A raised platform is called Vedi. Now, the Homa Kunda, where we perform yaga, is also known as Vedi, Yajna Vedi. The Vedi is that platform or that Homa Kunda, that raised area. So here it refers to a platform where a dancer, the stage platform where a dancer performs. So he says that those kinds of places are available to you. Prayaha Tatsu, they are all available. So you would have definitely gone and danced there, were it not for this fact. The fact is that you wanted to bless me. My mind is a very hard surface, so you wanted to practice that way on a hard surface. So you went on walking on mountainous, hard mountainous terrain. That is why prayaha satsu chila taleshu natanam. That is why you went and danced on. Not only walked, you danced chila taleshu natanam. Because dancing is more strenuous for the feet, isn't it? On a hard surface. So you went and practiced to dance, not just walking. On mountainous surfaces, Shilataleshu Natanam, Shambho Kimartham Tava. Why did you do that? If it is not for this purpose, no case. If it is not for this purpose, why did you go and do that? You would not have done it. So the conclusion is you went and practiced in very hard surfaces of the mountainous terrain because you wanted to bless me for my protection. You wanted to dance in my mind, and you knew even before my birth that my mind will be very hard surface. येष्यत्येष जनिं मनोस्य कठिनं तस्मिन्नटानीतिमत् रक्षायै गिरिसीम्नि कोमलपद न्यासपुराभ्यासितः नो चेत् दिव्यगृहान्तरेषु सुमनस्तल्पेषु वेद्यादिषु प्रायस्तत्सु शिलातलेषु नटनं शम्भो किमर्थं तव. No, sound is not coming.
Sorry, Mama. कञ्चित् कालमु मामहेश भवतः पादारविन्दार्चनैः कञ्चित् ध्यानसमाधिभिश्च नतिभिः कञ्चित् कथाकर्णनैः कञ्चिदवेक्षणैश्च नुतिभिः कञ्चित् दशामीदृशी यः प्राप्नोति मुदा त्वदर्पितमना जीवन्स मुक्तः खलु.
Now here he is defining who a Jivan Mukta is. We have been using this term Jivan Mukta on many occasions in the past. Now, in fact, we have mentioned that it was Adi Shankara who propounded the concept of Jivan Mukta based on our Vedas, Upanishads and Shastras. Though the concept of Jivan Mukta is there in Vedas and Shastras, it was not being accepted, not being accepted wholeheartedly by a lot of people. Because people thought that Mukti is available only after you drop the body. Only after you drop the body, you can become a Mukta. The Mukti can be instantaneous if you are a Jnani, or it can be through a path that they accepted. Through a path, long drawn path, Surya Loka, Brahma Loka, etc. You spend many years there, and then finally you get Mukti. Now, but they never accepted that even while in this body, on this earth, in this human frame, you can get Mukti. That is what Shankara established on the basis of Shastras and Vedas. So, who is that Jivan Mukta? Now, he is defining it in his own way, beautifully. Kanchit kalam mahesh bhavataha padara vindasyanaihi. Mahesha is the address. Oh, Uma Maheshwara. Kanchit kalam, some time. Bhavataha padara vindasyanaihi. He spent some time in archana of your lotus feet. Pada aravinda archanaihi of your bhavataha. Archana we all know, so I don't have to explain. Kanchit dhyana samadhibhishya natibhihi kanchit katha karnanaihi. Because mind is not something which you can always direct the mind to do something. 24 hours you ask the mind to do the same thing. It is possible. Jnanis do that. They sit in tapas. Thousands of years people have sat in tapas. And even asuras like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, they have done it. Thousands of years. They have done tapas. A single-minded concentration. But for ordinary people, because this is composed in Kali Yuga, people do not have that kind of capability. So the mind is always wavering. So you accommodate the wavering mind to concentrate on Parameshwara, but in various ways, so that the paths are different, the methods are different, but the aim is the same, so that the mind is having the same aim, but you allow the diversity of paths for the entertainment of the mind. So he is saying, Kanchit dhyana samadhibhishya. Sometime you have spent in Padaravinda Archana. Now you sit in meditation, dhyana. Samadhibhihi, dhyana samadhibhishya. If you look at Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, it starts with yama, niyama, etc., pranayama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and all that. And finally, it ends with dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Because mind is extremely difficult to control when you sit for meditation. Because that is the nature of the mind. The object on which you want to meditate, other than that, the mind travels here and there, flies here and there, not travels, it flies here and there. To control the flying object and to be redirected towards the stated aim is dharana. Then, having done it, having practiced it over some time, dhyana comes. Dhyana means now there is no more distraction, you have been able to concentrate. But still there is a duality, there is a dvaita bhavana. That is, I am doing the dhyana on Parameshwara Swarupa. So there is the Parameshwara Swarupa and there is an I. There are two entities. That is still the case in the case of dhyana. But in the case of samadhi, the dhyana becomes so intense that this duality disappears and it becomes Advaita Bhavana. That is, I disappear, I lose my identity, I lose my entity, I become Parameshwara at the mental level during the period of samadhi. Now we have been hearing that Ramana Maharshi was in samadhi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was in samadhi, etc. We have been hearing all this. This is what happens because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to be in samadhi for days together. Ramana Maharshi also. When he was in that Patalalinga cave, he did not know anything of what was happening to him. His body was being eaten away by vermin and insects. Now, this kind of samadhi happens after protracted practice of dhyana. And protracted practice of dhyana has to be done before you can do that by doing dharana. Because dharana will be the removal of all those outside forces. So this is the process which has been described by Patanjali. Now he is saying you do that also for some time. Practice that as a diversion for the mind which has been doing Padaravinda Archana. Now the mind is doing this. Kanchid dhyana samadhibhikya natibhihi. Next is giving some activity for the body. Now you have sat for too long. By sitting, you have been doing Padaravinda Archana. By sitting, you have gone into meditation. Now get up and do prostration. Natibhihi, prostration. It includes pradakshana. Pradakshana, namaskara go together in our culture. You know that. And lot of fruits have been mentioned in our shastras for pradakshana and namaskara. Lot of fruits, lot of sins get washed away by simple pradakshana and namaskara. So keep doing that for some time. Kanchit katha karnanaihi. Sometime you spend in listening to stories of Shiva. Katha akarnanaihi. Kanchit avekshanaihi nutibhihi. Kanchit avekshanaihi. Sometime you spend in having darshan of the Lord. Don't do anything, just keep seeing the Vigraha of Bhagavan. Keep the Vigraha of Bhagavan in front of you. Go and sit in a temple or in the temple in your home where Parameshwara's image is there. Sit in front of the image. Keep seeing that. On seeing the image, you get a lot of ideas about various items which are adorning his frame and corresponding leelas, etc., etc. Your mind will not go anywhere else except Parameshwara. So, Kanchit avekshanaicha, Kanchit nutibhihi. Nuti is stotras. Stotras in praise of Parameshwara. Go on chanting those stotras. Kanchit dashami drushi. Then he is giving general guidance. He says, he has given so many items. There may be other items. So Kanchit dashami drushi. This kind of state. Idrishim dasham. This kind of state which I have described. State is important. What is the state? State is mind is concentrating on Parameshwara. That state is important. To achieve that state, we have been suggesting certain methods. You may have other methods. You may have a method of going and bathing in sacred rivers, for example, etc., etc. So, Kanchit dasha midrishi yaprapnoti muda tadarpita manaha. The important thing is tadarpita manaha. The mind is dedicated, completely dedicated to Parameshwara. It doesn't waver anywhere else. It doesn't go anywhere else. So, when you do that, muda, you are not doing it by force and by exertion. No, you are doing it with great ananda. Muda means with ananda. You are doing it with great pleasure, happiness, delight. Why? Because that is the nature of this activity. This activity, Narada Bhakti Sutra, Narada says, Pratikshana Vardhamanam. This ananda, this bhakti grows every second, he says. That is the nature of that activity. Some activities are boring by nature. Some activities are very interesting by nature. Some activities are very generating happiness by nature. This is that kind of activity. So from one activity to another, all these activities are generators of delight. So, with great bliss, yah prapnoti muda tadarpita manaha. Prapnoti, who attains what? Dashami idrishim. This kind of state which has been described, who attains the state with mind dedicated to you, with great delight, with great happiness, he attains this state. Saha Jivan Muktaha Khalu. He is Jivan Mukta. He alone is Jivan Mukta. There is no doubt that he is. Khalu is an emphasis. There is no doubt that he is Jivan Mukta. He is liberated even while in body. That's the meaning of Jivan Mukta. So, Kanchit Dashami Idrishim, when he said, there are other forms of bhakti which he has not covered every one of them. This is not intended for that purpose, so he is putting it in a general manner. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a well-known shloka which gives nine forms of bhakti. Pravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Up to Vandanam he covered here. He left out Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, etc. Dasyam is slavery. Sakhyam is being a friend. These are all various ways of uh, training the mind to deal with Parameshwara. Atmanivedanam is the most important. We have seen in our Prapatti Saranagata Lakshanam. Submitting oneself completely, erasing one's identity completely. So Atmanivedanam. Iti pumsarpita Vishnu bhaktischayannava. When you do this to Bhagavan, that is Navalakshana Bhakti, Bhakti of having 9 characteristics. Kriyate Bhagavat Yadha Tanmanye Adhitamuttamam. Adha means truly, with sincerity, when you practice this, that is real adhitam, that is real practice. Whatever else you may do is not true practice. When you practice this kind of Navavidha Bhakti, that is true practice. He was talking about Muda, Muda Tadarpitamana, Ananda. This we have seen before. Bhagavad Gita says very clearly, the bliss that you attain in this manner is something very great, which leads to the state of Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti is not something which is not something ordinary. It's an extraordinary case. Only very few jnanis attain, go to that height, parakashtha. So he says, Yontas sukho antara ramaha tathantar jyotirev cha sa yogi brahma nirvanam brahma bodho digachyati. So much description he is giving, so much qualifications he is giving. Anta sukhaha antara ramaha, who is having internal happiness, internal, continuous, restful feeling. He doesn't feel agitated, free from agitation, complete shanti and happiness. Antar jyotihi, and he feels that he is in front of a big jyotis, the jyotis of jnana. Sa yogi, that yogi, Brahma Nirvanam, he has achieved release from this samsara, Brahma Nirvanam, he has attained the level of Brahma, the state of Brahman. Brahma Bhuto Dhigachyati. First he said Brahma Nirvanam, which is the state of release from samsara. Nirvanam is state of release from samsara. Afterwards, he becomes Brahma, Parabrahma, Swarupa himself. Brahma Bhutaha Adhigachyati. So that is the kind of Jivan Mukta state. Kanchit Kalamuma Mahesha Bhavataha Padaravindarchanehi Kanchit Dhyana Samadhibhistya Ratibhihi Kanchit Tatha Karnanaihi Kanchit Kanchid Avekshanaistya Nutibhihi Kanchit Dasha Vidrishim Yaprapnoti Muda Tadarpitamana Evan Samukta Khalu.
बाणत्वं वृषभत्वम् अर्धवपुषा भार्या त्वमार्यापते घोणित्वं सखिता मृदङ्गवहता यादिरूपं दधौ त्वत्पादे नयनार्पणं च कृतवान् तद्देहभागो हरिः पूज्यात् पूज्यतरः स एव हि न चेत् को वा तदन्योऽधिकः.
This sloka is in praise of Mahavishnu. This sloka is entirely dedicated to Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is praised as the greatest Shiva Bhakta. Number one Shiva Bhakta is Mahavishnu. Similarly, if you go and read the Puranas of Mahavishnu, they will say Shiva is the number one Vishnu Bhakta. That is how it is, because they are honored the same. So that Harihara Abheda he is establishing in a very beautiful manner by showing us how Mahavishnu has been doing his bhakti to Shiva. He has been doing in various forms. Bhavanatvam, Vrishabhatvam, Ardhavapusha, Bharyatvam, Aryapate. Aryapate, the consort of Arya. Arya is Devi. Arya means someone who is highly respected, highly regarded is Arya. a woman, because Aryaha is masculine, Arya is feminine, as per Sanskrit rules of grammar. So, in Mukha Panchashati, the first Shatakam is called Arya Shatakam. That is why it is dedicated to Arya. So here he is calling Parameshwara as Arya Pate Bhanatvam. Bhana is arrow. So Mahavishnu assumed the state of an arrow, ordinary arrow. Who will do that? During Tripura Samhara, Parameshwara made elaborate arrangements for Tripura. That was required. Tripura was such a powerful asura. So you have to be very prepared. So what he did, he made Bhumi as the chariot, as the Ratha, Surya and Chandra as the two wheels of the Ratha, and four Vedas as four horses pulling the Ratha, and Brahma as the charioteer, as the Sarathi, and Sumeru Parvata, such a huge Parvata, he made it as the bow, and the bow string is Adishesha, and you need no arrow, everything else is arranged. Arrow is Mahavishnu. Bhanatvam, Vrishabhatvam. He also became Vrishabha once. This story is mentioned in Kanda Purana in detail. That is, suddenly Vishnu became envious of Nandi Bhagavan. This Nandi never leaves Shiva, always with him. And wherever Parameshwara goes, he carries him on his back. So he is very lucky. And Rishabha is Dharma Devata, very like that. So he went and asked Parameshwara, I want to be Rishabha. Then he granted him that state for a short time. He gave Nandi leave, and then he took the place of Nandi. Vishnu took the place of Nandi. So that is Vrishabhatvam. Ardha Vapusha Bharyatvam. Bharyatvam is being the wife. Bharya is the wife. Being the wife by taking half the body. Ardha Vapusha. That is what the form of Shankara Narayana is there in Tirunelveli district in a Kshetra. There is a Sannidhi of Shankara Narayana. The right half of Shankara, left half is Narayana. It's not an imaginary sculpture. It is the Sannidhi of Bhagavan, and Bhagavan showed himself to a devotee in that there is a story connected with the Kshetra Mahatmyam. So he says, Ardha Vapusha Bharya Tvam Arya Pate Ghoni Tvam. Ghoni is Varaha. That story we have seen many times. Sakhita. You became the female friend, Sakhi. You became the female friend of Parameshwara. When he went for Darukavana Leela to teach a lesson to those rishis, he became Bhikshatana with no clothes on. He took Mahavishnu in the form of a Mohini. That was his Sakhi. And Mohini went and enticed all the rishis, and Bhikshatana went and enticed all the rishi patnis. And we know the further story. Similarly, even during Samudra Manthanam, Vishnu took the form of Mohini as a Sakhi of Parameshwara, and Parameshwara, in fact, could not control himself from falling in love with this Sakhi. So beautiful she was. That is how Srimad Bhagavatam describes that scene. That shows the intimacy between the two. Dhonitvam Sakhita Mridanga Vahata. Then you play Mridanga every evening during Pradoshakala when Shiva executes his Tandava Nritya, Pradosha Tandava Nritya. Whenever he performs, you immediately go and sit there with your Mridanga. Mridanga Vahata Chaitya. Like this many. I have mentioned a few. Adi, Rupam Dadhau. Various forms you have taken. The first few forms, actually different forms, not Mahavishnu, normal original forms. Except the last one, Mridanga Bhata, he sat in his own Mahavishnu form. So many forms he has taken. Tatpade Nayana Arpanam Cha. This also we have seen. At your feet, he laid down his own eye when he fell short of one lotus flower. He collected 1,000 lotus flowers. He fell short of one lotus flower. So he plucked his own eye and submitted at your feet, and Parameshwara became pleased, gave him darshan, gave him chakrayudha, and restored his eye. Tatpade nayanarpanam is submitting the eye, dedicating the eye. Kritavana, he did all this. Taddeha bhago harihi. After all, he is not different from you. He is a part of your body. Taddeha bhago harihi. He is not different from you. He is a part of your form. Why he is saying it? Because Shaiva Shastra says that Parameshwara divided himself into various forms and then gave them various, assigned them various jobs. We have seen it before. Panchakritya. And Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Ishvara and Sadashiva. Now that Vishnu, that shows Vishnu is also a part of Parameshwara. So Taddeha Bhago Harihi Pujyat Pujyatarastayevahi. Now after having said all this, have I not established that he is the Puja of all Pujas, the most worshipful of all the worshipful people, of all the people whom I should worship, he is the most to be worshipped, highest in that order, highest Shiva Bhakta. Pujyat Pujyatarastayevahine Nachet Kova Tadanyodhikaha. He is also calling you for a debate. Because he is used to debating on his Advaita Tattva with various Pandits all over India. He has traveled down his Digvijaya, so he is using that technique here. Nachet, if you don't agree with me, if you think that he is not Pujyat Pujyataraha, he is not the number one Shiva Bhakta, if you think like that, then you tell me who else is there. Nachet Kova Tadanyodhikaha Tadanyaha Adhikaha. Somebody has to exceed him, isn't it? Then only you can come and debate with me. You should prove that there is somebody who exceeds him in his Shiva Bhakti. Who is there? No one is there. Ova Tadanyodhikaha. So he became Arrow, he became Rishabha, he participated in half the body of Shiva as his consort. He became Varaha, he became female friend, he played Mridangam, plays Mridangam every evening during Pradosha Kala. So he has taken so many forms. He also dedicated his own eye, submitted his own eye at your feet. And he is, after all, a part of your own form. And he obviously is more deserving of our worship than anyone else. Otherwise, if this is not the case, who is there who exceeds him in Shiva Bhakti and consequently deserving of our worship? बाणत्वं वृषभत्वम् अर्धवपुषा भार्यात्वम् आर्यापते घोणित्वं सखिता मृदङ्गवहता चैत्यादिरूपं दधौ त्वत्पादे नयनार्पणं च कृतवान् त्वद्देहभागो हरिः पूज्यात् पूज्यतरस्तयेव हि न चेत् को वा तदन्योऽधिकः.
जननमृतियुतानां सेवया देवतानां न भवति सुखलेशः संशयो नास्ति तत्र अजनिम् अमृतरूपं साम्बमीशं भजन्ते य इह परमसौख्यं ते हि धन्या लभन्ते.
Now he is once again teaching us asare samsare, he said, isn't it? So in this asare samsare, why are you going for ordinary mundane benefits? So he says, don't do that. So he is saying in a different manner. Jananamriti yutanam sevaya devatanam. You are approaching devatas who are themselves subject to birth and death. Janana mriti yutanam. They have this disqualification of birth and death. You go to such devatas and you worship them. Sevaya deva. By what do you get? Na bhavati sukha leshaha. You will not get even an iota of sukha, even an iota of happiness. You will say, I got wealth, I got this, I got that. But all those are transient. That is not long-term happiness. So you have lost the opportunity of accumulating long-term happiness by going to these Shudra Devatas, petty Devatas. Samshayo nasti tatra. Is there any doubt in what I am saying? No, not at all. No doubt. By approaching ordinary devatas who are themselves subject to birth and death, there is no happiness on a long term at all. Ajanim amritarupam sambamisham bhajante. Those who worship Sambam Isham, Parameshwara accompanied by Parameshwari, Ambika. And who is he? Ajanim Amritarupam. He has seen no birth. He is not born. He is ever present. Amritarupam. He never dies, and he is himself the form of immortality. He is himself the form of immortality, and he blesses us with immortality, with Amritatvam. That is the famous Mrityunjaya mantra we saw. So, he is Mrityunjaya who has conquered Mrityu, and he is giving that state of Mrityunjaya to us. He will make us birthless and deathless. He is himself birthless and deathless, and he is accompanied by Parameshwari. That fact is, when he says accompanied by Parameshwari, it means Ambika represents this entire creation, including us. All creation is done by Ambika, as using her Maya Shakti. We have seen it before. So, when she is also there, she will see that we don't get entangled in the samsara once again. Her blessing will be there. That is why he is saying he is not alone. He is always accompanied by Ambika. So you don't worry about this samsara anymore. Yaha paramasaukyam tehi dhanya labhante. Those who have worshipped Parameshwara, accompanied by Parameshwari, they reap the benefit of paramasaukyam, supreme happiness. As we have seen before, supreme happiness comes only when you abandon everything mundane and catch hold of Parameshwara's feet and develop bhakti that he has expressed so many times, explained so many times. And this bhakti will lead to moksha, which is nothing but ananda. Parama saukhyam tehi dhanya labhante. Those who have worshipped Parameshwara like this, they are really indeed fortunate. Dhanya means they are fortunate. They know what is to be done and they have done that. They are extremely fortunate. To know what you have to do and do it requires good fortune, isn't it? Sometimes you know but you are not able to do. Sometimes you don't know, so you are loitering in the wrong path. So, you to know and to follow that path is good fortune. Te hi dhanya labhante. They attain what? Paramasaukyam labhante. So, those who are after devatas, who are themselves subject to birth and death, for them there is not an iota of happiness. On this there is no doubt. Those who worship Parameshwara accompanied by Ambika, who is himself free from birth and death and who is going to give us immortality, they only attain the supreme happiness. They are indeed fortunate. So, this reminds me of a passage in Chandogya Upanishad, this Paramasaukyam. Because there, there are many stories in Upanishad, as you know. One story in Chandogya Upanishad is, Chandogya Upanishad is the Upanishad which attached to Samaveda and which gives us the beautiful Mahavakya Tattvamasi that comes from Chandogya, one of the stories in Chandogya. Now, in this story, Narada goes to Sanat Kumara and seeks his teaching of Brahma Vidya. He says, I have come to you for getting the knowledge of Brahma Vidya. Then Sanat Kumara asks, what do you know now? First, he has to assess the knowledge of the student before he gives him Brahma Vidya. Anybody and everybody cannot get Brahma Vidya. He will not make it to it and he will not get any benefit out of it. So are you qualified for it? Then he said, when his question was, what is your knowledge? He listed, a long list is there in the Upanishad. I know Vedas, I know Shastras, I know Jyotisham, I know this, I know that, everything under the sun. He said, I know. Then Sanat Kumara laughed and said, yes, you know everything, but you don't know that by knowing which everything else becomes known, and by not knowing that, nothing else is known. This is the definition of Brahma. Parabrahma definition given in Upanishad is this. By knowing Parabrahman, everything else becomes known. By not knowing Parabrahman, nothing is known. So your knowledge is equal to nothing in short. So all this what you have acquired, including Vedas, is apara vidya. You have not got para vidya. Para vidya is Brahma vidya. Experiencing Parabrahma. So that is the supreme vidya. Apara vidya is the lower level of vidya which you have got. Then Narada replied, yes, I know that. That is the reason why I have come to you for acquiring Brahma vidya. Then he teaches them Brahma vidya. In that process, he uses this term. Yo vai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukhamasti. That which is very large, that means Brahman. Bhuma, by using the term bhuma, which means very large, very huge. Very huge, he is referring to Brahman. He says, one who has experienced that something which is very huge, that is Brahman, he gets that sukham, he understands what is happiness. He experiences that happiness. Alpe sukhamasti. In Alpa, which is the world, worldly matters, Alpe sukhamasti, na sukhamasti, there is no sukha in this Alpa, matter of Alpa. So, this Bhuma, that Sukham is Parama Saukhyam here. He is having that Upanishad in mind and he is referring to that indirectly by using the term Parama Saukhyam. What he called as Yo Vai Bhuma Tat Sukham Jananamritiyutanam Sevaya Devatanam Nabhavati Sukhaleshaha Samchayo Nasti Tatra Ajanim Amrtarupam Sambhamisham Bhajante Ya Iha Parama Saukhyam Yehi Dhanya Labhante.
शिव तव परिचर्या सन्निधानाय गौर्या भव मम गुणधुर्या बुद्धिकन्यां प्रदास्ये सकलभुवनबन्धो सच्चिदानन्दसिन्धो सदय हृदय गेहे सर्वदा संवसत्वम्.
Here he is telling us in a very beautiful manner that our buddhi, our intellect, should always be directed to Parameshwara. Because as we have seen before, buddhi is controlling the mind. Intellect controls the mind. Intellect tells the mind what to do and what not to do. So if you allow the buddhi to loiter here and there, mind is having already a tendency to loiter and buddhi allows that tendency, then you have lost everything. So he says, Shiva tava paricarya sannidhanaya gaurya bhava mama gunadhuryam buddhi kanyam pratasye. O Shiva, tava paricarya sannidhanaya gaurya. Paricarya is physical service. That is called paricharya. Go and doing, if you attend to an elderly person, to your guru, to your parents, you be with them and you do whatever they want you to do. That is paricharya. So, for your paricharya, for doing that kind of service to you, sannidhanaya, sitting at your feet, that is in your vicinity, close to you. Sannidhanaya, close to you. Not sitting in another room and then he waits for your call and then he comes and helps you. No, not that. He is always with you, ever at your call. And then he wants to do service. Gaurya, along with Gauri, Gaurya Saha, it means. That is, he will do service to you and Gauri. So I have got a person like that. Who is that? Mama Gunadhuryam Buddhi Kanyam Pradasye. I want to do Kanyadana to you. I have a Kanya. As you know, Kanyadana is extremely auspicious. You get a lot of punya by doing Kanyadana. All of us know it. That is what Vivaha means for us. Kanyadana is Vivaha. So here I am giving my Kanya to you, my daughter. Who is that? Buddhi Kanya. My daughter is my intellect. She is the Kanya whom I am giving to you. Pradasye, Kanyam Pradasye, Kanyadana. Now how is this Kanya? Gunadhuryam. She is excellent in qualities. I have trained her like that. So for him to say that he has trained this Kanya, Buddhi Kanya, in qualities, how much he is confident. that this buddhi will never deviate from sadguna, isn't it? The buddhi will never indulge in durguna. He is very confident of that. That is why he is saying guna dhuryam. Dhuryam means excellent, exceedingly well, good in qualities. Actually, dhura means burden. She is carrying the burden of qualities. That means that quality is so heavy, so huge. So that kind of burden she is carrying. That means she is exceedingly good in qualities. So that Buddhi Kanya I am giving to you. Bhava is the address of Parameshwara again, we have seen before. Sakala Bhavana Bandho, Satchidananda Sindho. Now he is praising Parameshwara. You are the relative of all the worlds, so naturally you will also help me. If you are Bandhu for everyone, I am also one among those. Satchidananda Sindho. You are the ocean of Sat, Chit and Ananda. Existence, consciousness and bliss. These are the three defining characteristics of Parabrahma. We have seen before. Something which exists irrespective of time and place, at all times, at all places. Something which is only exclusively consciousness, nothing else. No form, no flesh, no bones, no nothing. No qualities, no nothing. Only consciousness. Ananda, but you have bliss. When you say only consciousness, both go together. Sthiti and Ananda. So, Sindho, you are the ocean of that. Sadaya, but now I am not talking about that form, that Parabrahma form, which has no qualities. Nirguna Nirakara Parabrahma, I am not talking about, though he mentioned that. He mentioned it because we should not realize, see, somebody is very close to us, some very great person, great jnani, Ramana Maharshi. We go and see him every day. Does it mean that because he is close to us, we can take liberties with him? No. We should know who he is, isn't it? So similarly, when Parameshwara is blessing us at our vicinity, he is close to us, it doesn't mean that form which we are appreciating as Parameshwara is not restricted to that form. He is actually Parabrahma with no form, no quality. He is only Satchidananda. He has taken this form for blessing you, only for blessing you, for no other purpose. That you must realize, so that is why he is putting the two together. Satchidananda Sindho Sadaya, you are having compassion. If you are only Parabrahman, you will not have any compassion. Because you are Parameshwara, you are full of compassion for me. So I have a prayer. Hridayagehe sarvada sambhasatvam. Sarvada, always come and reside. Sambhasa, reside comfortably. Vasa itself is reside. Sambhasa means comfortably reside. Sometimes we tell our guests, isn't it? I got a beautiful guest room. Once you come to my house, I will give you that room. You don't have to worry about anything. All comforts are there. We say all that, isn't it? So similarly, he says, Sambhasa, you come and reside comfortably in my house. Hridayagehe, what is my house? My heart is the house. My heart is the house. There, I am giving you my daughter Buddhi Kanya as your servant for attending to all your needs along with Gauri. She will attend. And she has been trained to have excellent qualities. I am offering the Buddhi Kanya. So you are the friend of all the worlds. You are an ocean of Sati, Chiti and Ananda, and you are full of compassion. So please come and reside in this heart house of mine. Shiva tava paricharya sannidhanaya gaurya bhava mama gunadhuryam buddhi ganyam pradasye sakala bhuvana bandho satchidananda sindho sadaya hridaya gehe sarvada sambasatvam.
जलधिमतनदक्षो नैव पातालभेदी न च वनमृगयायां नैव लुब्धप्रवीणः अशककुसुमभूषा वस्त्रमुख्यां सपर्यां कथय कथमहं ते कल्पायानीन्दुमौले.
He says, by looking at you, I am worried now. How to do puja to you? That is the subject. Because Ashana Kusuma Bhusha Vastra Mukhyam Saparyam. Ashana is food. What is your food? Poison. You have been taking poison as your food. For getting you poison, I have to go and do Samudra Manthanam. Jaladhi Mathana Dakshaha. If I am master, if I am capable of doing the churning Mathana of Jaladhi, of ocean, then I can get you your Ashana, your food. So I am not capable of that. Then next is Kusuma. Kusuma is the flower. Now he is wearing Chandra, and Chandra is described often as a flower on the head because there is a tradition of wearing flower on the top of your crown. Now this Parameshwara doesn't wear a crown. His crown is matted locks, jata jota. So, but on the top of that crown of jata jota, he is wearing a flower which is Chandra. So this is normally how poets describe. So for even getting the Chandra, again I have to go and do the churning of the ocean because Chandra also came during the churning of the milk ocean. So I cannot do that. Next is your bhusha. Next is your ornaments. What are your ornaments? They are all serpents. How can I go and get the serpent? I can go and get only from Patala Loka. Nagaloka is there, full of snakes. So, but I have no ability to go to Patala Bheda by digging the earth. Patala Bhedi. By digging the earth, I have to go to Patala. Like Varaha did, Mahavishnu did as Varaha, but I am not Mahavishnu. I can't do that. Next is Vastra, your dress, your clothing. Your clothing is what? Elephant skin and tiger skin. So for that I have to go to forest and hunt. Nachavana mrigayayam naivalubdha praveenaha. I am no hunter. Lubdha means praveena. I am not an expert hunter. Praveenaha lubdha. I am not an expert hunter. So I cannot do vana mrigayayam. I cannot do hunting in the forest. Mrigaya means hunting. Hunting in the forest is not possible because I am not an expert hunter. So I cannot get you elephant skin and tiger skin. So how can I do puja? When I cannot offer you food, naivedya, I cannot offer you flowers, I cannot offer you ornaments, I cannot offer you even vastra, very basic. Then what kind of puja I can do? Kathaya, please tell me what puja I can do. Kathamaham te kalpayani indu maude. Because Kusuma we interpreted as Chandra, he is giving a hint for saying that our interpretation is correct. He says, Indu Maule, O Shiva, who is having Chandra in the head. Indu Maule, Indu is Chandra. Kathamaham te kalpayani. Kalpayani means to imagine, to think of. How can I think of puja to you? Please tell me. Kathaye katham aham te kalpayani. Aham te saparyam katham kalpayani. How can I imagine puja to you? What kind of puja I can do to you? Please tell me. That is the message in this sloka. That means what? That means he is showing his humility, his incapability, his deenatva. We have seen before Karpanya. We have seen Saranagati also Karpanya. So Karpanya, the deenatva, that humility, saying that I have nothing with me, I am incapable fellow. That is what he is doing. That is very important in bhakti. So he is stressing various aspects of bhakti in various slokas. Jaladhimathana daksho naiva patala bhedi nachavana mrigayayam naiva lubdha praveenaha ashana kusuma bhusha vastra mukhyam saparyam kathaya kathamaham te kalpayani indu maule.
पूजाद्रव्यसमृद्धयो विरचिताः पूजां कथं कुर्महे पक्षित्वं न च वाक्कीटित्वमपि न प्राप्तं मया दुर्लभम् जाने मस्तकमङ्घ्रिपल्लवमुमा जाने न तेऽहं विभो न ज्ञातं हि पितामहेन हरिणा तत्त्वेन तद्रूपिणा.
He is continuing with the theme of I am incapable of doing puja to you, but he is putting it in a different context. He says, Puja dravya samruddhayo virachitaha pujam katham kurmahe. I have plenty of puja samagri, puja dravya, materials of puja, samruddhayaha, plenty. There is no shortage. Virachitaha, I have accumulated all that. Pujam katham kurmahe, but I don't know how to do puja. Why? Pakshitvam nachava kititvam api na praptam maya durlabham. Jane mastakam pallavam uma jane nateham vibho. Why I am not able to do puja? Uma jane, you are the consort of Uma. Uma jane, jane, Uma jane. Beautifully he is putting the pada prayoga. Uma jane means consort of Uma. You are the consort of Uma. Na jane mastakam pallavam. I do not know your head or your feet. Angri Pallava, your lotus feet, I do not know. Because you are having Vishwarupa. I cannot see your head or 1 minute, just a minute. So he says, Uma jane, consort of Uma, na jane mastakam angri pallavam. Your mastaka, your head. Oh, I didn't put on my. I hope now you can hear me. Consort of Uma, I do not know where your head is, where your lotus feet are. Angri Pallava. Pallava means actually tender shoot. Here it means lotus flower. I do not know because you are Vishwarupa, your head is somewhere up in the sky, your feet are somewhere below the Patala Loka. So for such a form, how can I do puja? For doing puja, I must know where is the head, where is the foot. I do not know where is the head, where is the foot. Pakshetvam nachava kititvam api na praptam maya durlabham. I cannot become a swan. I cannot become a varaha. Kiti is the varaha. So these things are beyond me. Na praptam maya durlabham. They are beyond me. It's not possible for me to become a pakshi or a kitty, to become a swan or to become a varaha, like Brahma did, like Vishnu did. So They tried to find your head and feet, so I have no chance of finding your head and feet. So, though I have accumulated plenty of puja material, I do not know how to do puja because I cannot understand your form. For doing puja, you need a proper form in front of you, isn't it? That is what he is saying. Na jnatam hi pitamahena harina tatvena tadrupina. Even those Pitamaha and Hari, Brahma is known as Pitamaha. He is the grandfather of all of us. So he is Brahma and Vishnu. Even by them, na jnatam, they did not find your head and feet. Even by them, your head and feet were not recognizable, were not known. Tatvena, in truth, because the Brahma told a lie, isn't it? So he's putting it in a nice manner. Tatvena, in truth, they could not find. Tadrupina, even taking those forms. They did not go in the form of normal forms of Vishnu and Brahma. They went in the form of Varaha and Hamsapakshi, and still Tadrupina, having taken those forms, they could not find your head and feet in truth. So I do not know how can I find, how can I do puja? पूजा द्रव्य समृद्धयो विरचिताः पूजां कथं कुर्महे पक्षित्वं न च वा किटित्वमपि न प्राप्तं मया दुर्लभं जाने मस्तकमङ्घ्रिपल्लवमुमा जानेन तेऽहं विभो न ज्ञातं हि पितामहेन हरिणा तत्त्वेन तद्रूपिणा. I think it is time now. We close for the day. Any questions?
There are no questions today.
No questions. So we close for the day. We continue tomorrow evening at 6:30 as usual, 6:30 IST. I call upon all of you to join in this Jnana Yajna, immersing ourselves in the bliss of Shyamananda Lahari. Nama Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva.